Hello, in this video we're going to look at the trigonometric ratios in right-angled triangles. Okay, so people, what is really important for you to remember is that in any right-angled triangle, at a specific angle, the sides are in specific ratios. Does not matter how small or how large your triangle is. So if this, for instance, let's go here. If this angle is 30 degrees, okay, then the hypotenuse and this side will always have a fixed ratio independent on the size of your triangle. Okay, and this specific ratio we, for instance, call sine. Okay, so the three trigonometric ratios that you will learn is sine, cosine, and tangent. And we call it in short sin, cos, and tan. All right, so remember, trigonometric ratio refers to the specific ratio of two sides at a specific angle. So when we look at what we have, if one side and one angle is given, people, then you can find another side. Okay, remember the previous video, which was about Pythagoras, was not about angles. So as soon as an angle is given or involved or asked, then you know you must use the trigonometric ratios, and Pythagoras is not going to help you. Okay, so I want to first go through the steps in what is it that you must do so that you can solve these problems. All right, number one, people, we are starting with a right angle triangle, okay? And remember I told you in a right angle triangle, in step one, always identify the hypotenuse, okay? That's the first one. And we will write that down as an H. Okay, now because an angle is involved, in step two, you are going to color the lines that make up that angle, okay? The two lines that actually make up the vertex where the two lines meet, and that you will color. Now, one of them will always be the hypotenuse, okay? The second line is always the adjacent line, and we mark that with an A, okay? Adjacent means next to, all right? So this one is actually next to that angle. And then we've got the third line side, which is left over, and that is always called the opposite side. So in trigonometric ratios, we identify the three sides, one being the hypotenuse, one being the adjacent, and one being the opposite. If we look at this triangle as an example, we are starting by identifying the hypotenuse, which is opposite the 90-degree angle. Remember that one must always be given. Then you color the two lines which make up the angle. So the one color is already the hypotenuse. The other one must always be the adjacent side. Okay, adjacent means touching, neighboring. Okay, and then the third side is always the opposite. Okay, now when you've got your identification, you go to your trigonometric ratios. And I want you to learn this abbreviation, which we say is SO, K, TOI. And this stands for the sin of a specific angle, okay, is the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cos of a specific angle is the adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. So cos always refers to the ratio of adjacent and hypotenuse. Then the third trigonometric ratio, the tan of an angle always refers to opposite divided by adjacent. This, people, you must just simply learn and you must just simply remember. All right, so now remember we have now identified our sides, okay, and we come to our ratio. So I want to use an example to now explain how are we going to get to the answer? So number 1, you are given an angle of 30 degrees, you are given the 5, and this side is being asked. Okay, remember, in step 1, we identify the hypotenuse. Okay, in step 2, we color the lines, one of which will always be the hypotenuse, which you have already identified. The other one will be the adjacent, and then the third side is the opposite side. So now, people, you go to your trigonometric ratio. You write down so ka tua. Okay, that is step 3. Write down so ka tua. Okay, now you're going to look at what is given. Okay, remember sin, cos and tan goes along with an angle. So you already got, you can have sin 30, cos 30 and tan 30. Okay, tick that off because you've got that. Then you also got the hypotenuse. So go to H, tick it off, go to H, tick it off. There is no H there, so we can't tick off anything. Then you go to what is being asked. Your O is being asked. So now you question your O. Here we can't question. You question your O. All right. Now important. Which ratio do you have to choose? You have to choose the ratio where each and every symbol is ticked or questioned. Here you can't work, people, because you don't have the third one. You don't have the third one. So I repeat, once you've done your ticking and your questioning, you choose the ratio that is actually giving you the 3, or where all 3 letters have a sign or a symbol. Okay, and then it is easy. You write the sin of how many degrees? 30 degrees equals the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, that is our formula. So write your trigonometric formula. Okay, then in your next step you will substitute values. We have already substituted the 30. Okay, the opposite is being asked, so that remains O, and the hypotenuse is given as 5. Okay, so next step is substitute values, right? Remember, when we work a formula, in the next step we always have substitute values. Okay, then if we go on, we now have to take that 5 over, so now it is 5 sin 30 degrees equals O. Okay, and that, people, you put into your calculator. You will see that you've got a key which is called sin. So you simply put into your calculator 5, then sin, then 30 degrees, and that equals O. And unfortunately, I now don't have the answer and I don't have a calculator. So let me just quickly check. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have it here, people. Please put that into your calculator and get the answer. I quickly chose a calculator. This seems to be 2.5. So the distance of your opposite, the distance of your opposite side is 2.5 centimeters.